Good morning. This is Nick, and this is Coffee with Nick. And today I thought I would talk about warranties and our touch-up program and how it all works, because I think there is some disbelief. I think people hear about our lifetime warranty and they think it's too good to be true. And they hear about our yearly touch-up program, and quite honestly, I get some flack from the industry. Other painters are like, "Oh my gosh, you must have to, that's some marketing ploy, to get the business, and then you're not going to do anything." And in reality, we've been offering our free touch-up program for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years now, and we do have some stipulations on it. We're going to go over that here in a second, but it's a program that, quite honestly, did come about from a marketing perspective. There's a story that I like to tell, and this is literally why I came up with our yearly touch-up program and why it's so important to us. So I'm a big podcast listener, and I used to listen to this podcast on real estate. And one day the guy was talking about the National Association of Realtors and a study that they had done. And they had asked homeowners that had just used a real estate agent for the very first time. And they said, did they do a good job? And would you use that agent again? And I don't remember the numbers exactly, but let's say it was 73%. A homeowner said, yeah, they did a great job. I would definitely use her or him again on our next transaction. And then they did a second study, and they asked people who had recently used a realtor for the second time. And the numbers were, again, I don't remember exactly, but let's say it was like 57% used the same real estate agent. And then they asked, well, if they didn't, why did you not use the same real estate agent? And the vast majority of answers were, well, they did a great job. I just couldn't remember who it was. I remember that they worked for Remax, but couldn't remember her name, his name, and so we couldn't contact them. And so that was an illustration to me that if that industry, and that industry is an industry that I have always thought of, that from a small business perspective, they do a great job of, as a whole, do a great job of getting back out in front of their customers and sending pads of paper and calendars and, just stuff to their homeowners so that they don't forget them. If they are doing a poor job of, helping their customers be able to contact them and reach back out, then, how bad of a job am I doing? And so I literally sat down one day and thought, well, what could I do that a homeowner would never want to forget who we are? And so I'd not heard of anybody doing this, but I thought, what if we would come back every year and do a touch-up? And in the beginning, it was scary. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm opening myself up for all sorts of craziness, right? And we started doing it, and customers started calling us on it, and it really wasn't bad. What I have found over the years, and we've been doing it for a long time now, so it's not something new. Our average touch-up takes like 20 minutes. Sometimes it's less. I remember just like 2 weeks ago, I went out and the homeowner literally had me touch up one door. It's the trash drawer. You pull it out and it's the trash, right? So that is the notorious, one of the doors that always needs a touch up. And it was literally the only thing they had me touch up. And they were apologizing to me, and I get that a lot. Oh my gosh, I almost didn't call you, Nick, because it's just a few things. And I'm like, that's the best kind of touch-ups. I love that. I love just going out, saying hi, catching up with our homeowners, and doing those small touch-ups, because I love keeping their stuff fresh. And I love the fact that every time they look at their kitchen, they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So that's where it came from. How it helps us is that, it helps us sell paint jobs. Homeowners constantly like, Nick, we went with you because of your touch-up program. We just think that's amazing. And so obviously we get more business from it. Number two, it helps our customers, gives them a reason to talk about us. Yeah, imagine, you're sitting at the office and, your coworkers like talking about this painting company that, we had them paint our cabinets like 3 years ago. They come out like every year or every other year, whatever. And I get those calls from those people, those coworkers. I literally had one, I think, a couple months ago, and they were like, "Yeah, we got your name from so and so, and I work with them, and they just had you out to do touch ups." And so it brings us more opportunities. And then it just, homeowners, we just finished a project, painting their whole new house very soon after we came out to do a touch up. So I can't honestly say it was 100% because of our touch up program, but it does lead us to more opportunities for that homeowner, whereas maybe they would have forgotten about us. I don't know. But it is something that we honestly do. And if you go back and look at our Google reviews, I literally ask people to do updates on their Google review. Please talk about it. We actually do this because I do believe there's some level of disbelief out there that some customers are like, do they really do it? Because I've gotten the question, right? Like, okay, I see that you do touch it. Like, do you really come out and do it? So we do make it as easy as possible. Some people that aren't necessarily as tech savvy, might not think so, but we have an online scheduling system, so it's super easy. Now, I will tell you, we're not in every part of town all of the time. You can't call us and we're out there this week, most likely. You do need to plan it for the most part. You have to be like, okay, our anniversary is coming up. I'm going to go to the calendar and see each area. It depends on the area of town. We are in every area of town. I have 14 calendars that manage this. We are in every part of town at least every 6 weeks. Some parts of town, we have openings every about 3 or 4 weeks. So it just depends on how many customers. Like, we are not strong up in Boulder. We're not fantastic up in Firestone. In Erie, we have great customers up there, but it's not nearly the volume of customers I have in Highlands Ranch, where I live. So in Highlands Ranch, we probably have an open or a calendar event every 3 or 4 weeks, depending on my travel schedule, because sometimes I go out of town. And then the other ones that we don't have as many customers, Boulder, Golden, those you're probably going to see one every 6 weeks. But here's what we do. We have this on the right where you would sign up. We say, if you are unable to find a calendar event that works for you, please reach out. Please email me. Here's the email address. And what I try to do then, if I get something, I will look at my calendar in the next couple of days, because a lot of times, I'm God's honest truth. A lot of times we don't get any touch-up appointments on the open calendar dates. And I'm always trying to look at our calendar and make sure that I have dates, for the next 2 or 3 months already scheduled. Now, most of the areas you can only schedule out 60 days. Some of the areas where we don't have as many calendar events, you can schedule out as far as 90 days. But I'll be honest, like, sometimes I could probably look at my calendar right now and tell you that I don't have any appointments, the next Monday. And usually if I don't have any by that, it's very infrequent that people schedule very close to the date. And so that's when I would go, hey, somebody that lives in Broomfield, I don't, we're 2 months out for any kind of openings, but I've got this date that I could change that depending on my schedule, change that, and I can come up and see you. I will try to always combine it with being in the area for something else, whether an estimate or something like that. So I really do try to make it as easy as possible. Now, let me talk about our warranty. Our warranty is lifetime. So both of these are lifetime. In lifetime for us, and this is defined in our contract, lifetime is defined as long as you live there as your primary residence. You turn it into a rental, it voids the warranty. I'm sorry. If you sell the house, it voids the warranty. It does not transfer to the new owner. And I've had both of those situations come up recently. I had a new owner call us, and the reason I did was I needed to contact them because I had a schedule problem. And then I realized their name was different than the name we had in the system. Now, the funny thing was the first name was the same. They were both Kims, but there was a different last name. And so I had to inquire, hey, actually I looked on Zillow and saw that the house had sold in May. And so I had a pretty good idea that it had sold. So I reached out to them and said, hey, are you the new owner? I actually told them that it's, void, but I will come out one more time. And I'd like the introduction. I said, we're not going to do this ongoing, but I will come out. I'll do some touch up for you. gives you an opportunity to get to know me, but just know that this is not something that's going to be something that you can lean on a yearly basis. And the other situation that came up was somebody called me and I was talking to them, and she said, I don't think she was trying to conceal this fact, but she said, "Oh, my tenant, did something," and I was like, "Hold the phone." I was really nice about it, but I said, "Hey, just if this is if this is a property you have as a rental, I'm sorry, we can't come out and touch up. It's not That's not covered under the touch up program." And she 100% understood and was fine with it. So we canceled that appointment. So those are kind of the terms. I come out. We say that the touch ups need to be smaller than a dime. A lot of times I do bigger than that, but we are not repainting doors. We are not repainting the side of your cabinets. Like, it is for the little touch ups. So we're just not outfit. I'm not outfitted when I come out to do full, painting projects. I'm coming to do little touch ups. What's the difference between a warranty and a touch up? So warranty is failure. So if the paint that we've applied is not adhering properly, if you've ever seen paint on something and you can literally like move your thumb up and it just flakes off, that's failure. But most all of the touch ups that we do, it's just a little nick that's happened. And the rest of the paint's fine. It's just wherever it was impacted, something has come off or it's scratched, or that type of thing. And yeah, I will say that in the 12 years or so that we've been doing cabinets, we've really only had to do about a half a dozen warranty claims where we've repainted the kitchen. In the early days, that's the majority of them were early days, we were figuring out our process. And so we ended up repainting 2 or 3 kitchens because of that. And then during COVID, we had some supply issues. Benjamin Moore had, and all of the painting companies had some supply issues. Actually, unrelated to COVID, there was a freeze in Texas the same year, and colorant was not available. And so a lot of dark cabinets, we ended up using a different product. And when I went to go out to do a couple of touch ups, I was like, this hasn't held up. And so it was my offer to the homeowner, like, I want to repaint this kitchen because it does not look like what I am proud of. I think people are always shocked when we just take care of things. So that's a little bit about our warranty and our touch-up programs. I hope that helps you feel better about it and understand why we do it, how we do it, and we'd love to help you. We want to be your painter for life, and we want to have a great relationship with you, and whatever comes up, we want you to call us. So that's why we do it. Have a great day. See ya.